What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Sports PSP in the building. Hope you all enjoying the rest of your evening. Want to talk about some NFL news regarding the New York Jets. They have now hired Nathaniel Hackett as their new offensive coordinator, replacing Mike LaFleur. Yes, Nathaniel Hackett, who was the former head coach of the Denver Broncos, who was fired before the season was finished. He finished with a 4-11 record as the head coach of the Denver Broncos, who was fired December 26th, day after Christmas, after the Denver Broncos' embarrassing road loss to the Los Angeles Rams. So why is it such a big deal that the New York Jets have hired Nathaniel Hackett? Well, it's a big deal because before he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, he was the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, and he developed a relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and they had a great relationship. And one of the reasons why the Denver Broncos acquired Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach was because there was a possibility that they could also land Aaron Rodgers. However, they landed Russell Wilson instead. And during Nathaniel Hackett's time with the Denver Broncos, their offense struggled. They averaged 15.5 points per game, which was the lowest total since 1966. You saw Russell Wilson, without a doubt, the worst year of his career. And there were questions about Hackett's play calling, in which he had to hand over the play calling, to Clint Kubiak. So, like everybody else, this is the Jets' way of trying to land Aaron Rodgers because they're done with Zach Wilson. After 2 years with an 8-14 record as a starter, Zach Wilson is a bust. If you look at the other quarterbacks in his draft class, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, okay, we can't say much about Trey Lance because he got hurt early in the season and he was out for the rest of the season, replaced by Jimmy Garoppolo, and then ultimately replaced by Brock Purdy. And then when you look at New England Patriots with Mac Jones, even though Mac Jones had a down year compared to his rookie season, but I put a lot of that on Matt Patricia, but that's the here nor there. But Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, all of them are better, a lot better than Zach Wilson. The Jets are a quarterback away from making the playoffs. The only reason why they didn't make the playoffs was because of Zach Wilson. And the indictment against Zach Wilson is because we saw a lot more potential with Joe Flacco and Mike White in offense. And the Jets, they've got some really good pieces, from Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, the running back Hall, who came off a devastating injury. So offensively, they got some pieces, and defensively, we all know Robert Saleh. He was the former defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. That's why he was the head coach of the New York Jets. Of course, they got some big-time players, particularly Quentin Williams. And, of course, Sauce Gardner, the Pro Bowl cornerback, who also made first-team All-Pro. So if I'm the Jets, I hired Nathaniel Hackett as my offensive coordinator. I know what a relationship he has with Aaron Rodgers. I do it if I'm the Jets. And if I'm the Green Bay Packers as well, I do it. Let me tell you why. Because I think, like I said, the Jets are a quarterback away from competing in the playoffs. I don't see them competing for a Super Bowl because the AFC is just too loaded. But if I'm the Packers as well as the Jets, I will pull off the trade. For the Packers reasons, I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. I can't take it anymore with his nonsense and his crap. When he goes on Pat McAfee or whatever show or whatever platform or show he's on, and when he talks about his future, his plans, his retirement, all this other stuff, Aaron Rodgers is Brett Favre. He is his predecessor, Brett Favre. The knock on Brett Favre, the last couple of seasons of his career in Green Bay, he held the Packers hostage because he couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to play or retire. And Green Bay eventually moved on from him. They traded him to the New York Jets. And I think for the Green Bay Packers, they should trade Aaron Rodgers because it's been 18 years he's been with the organization, 15 years as a starter because Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years behind Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers, look, he will go down in Canton. He will get his jersey. He will be in the Packers Ring of Honor. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will be forever revered in Green Bay because of his accomplishments. But if you're Green Bay, it's just time to move on. You've given him too much leverage. You've given him too much power. And the more you give someone money or power, they become more than what they already are. They don't change. They become more than what they already are. That's number one. Number two, Aaron has come up short. Aaron hasn't been to a Super Bowl, hasn't won a Super Bowl since that 2010-2011 season. And he's come up short in NFC Championship games against Seattle, Atlanta, San Francisco, against Tampa Bay, when he had the number one seed and the road to the NFC was in Green Bay. And last year, he lost in the divisional round to the San Francisco 49ers when he had the number one seed. And the San Francisco 49ers had Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. So if I'm Green Bay, I need to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And also, in the 2020 NFL Draft, I drafted Jordan Love. At some point in time, we got to see Jordan Love play. The only time I've seen Jordan Love start was last year against the Kansas City Chiefs. That was the game in which Aaron Rodgers was ruled out because of COVID, and it was later discovered that he lied about his vaccination status when he said that he was immunized, and it was later discovered that he was unvaccinated. But that's the hit note there. But Green Bay, you got to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Now, he did say he was on Pat McAfee's show. He is willing to restructure his contract. He has about $59.4 million guaranteed if he plays in 2023. I'm just reading an article here from ESPN's staff writer, Rob Demovsky, who covers the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers has $59.4 million guaranteed if he plays in 2023 as part of the 3-year, $150 million contract extension he signed in March. It carries a salary cap charge of $31.6 million for next season. So if I'm Green Bay, look, I don't cut him because I'm gonna be way over the cap space. I'm gonna be dead in cap space. I would just trade him and move on from him and get something in return. And even if Jordan Love doesn't live up to being the quarterback I thought he could be when I drafted him in the first round, I got to move on from Aaron Rodgers because I have had enough. He's come up short. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2011. He's becoming more like his predecessor, Brett Favre, and let him be somebody else's headache. Okay? Let him be somebody else's headache, and we are part of the problem. We're culpable in this because we've emboldened him. So if I'm Green Bay, I don't care how you do it. Just move on from Aaron Rodgers. Enough is enough. So I don't care what he says. If he wants to be in Green Bay, if he wants to think about his future, it's time to move on. Enough is enough with Aaron Rodgers. But anyway, let me know in the comment section below, guys. Should Aaron Rodgers finish his career in Green Bay? Should he be traded to the New York Jets? Should he be traded to somewhere else? Should he retire? What do you think Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers should do? Anyway, outside of that, it's your boy Sports PSP. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless.